So I'll start with introducing you to the other student who will listen to this interview. So this
Okay.
is Nimota, and I'm Jiwon, and we started our PhD program at ENE together in fall 2023. Oh my God, it's been 2 years. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is crazy. And I'll let Dimota introduce herself to everyone in this department and especially for the new students.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Hi, everyone. My name is Nimota Nashiru. I am a third year PhD student in the E&E program. I'm a part-time student, so I work full-time currently at University of Illinois, Chicago as a project manager in the project management department. So essentially, we do capital planning projects for the entire campus. So I'm originally from Chicago, born and raised, and uh, I love the uni program.
That's great. So who's your advisor or advisors?
Yeah, my advisor is Dr. Kyria Mohad Yusuf. She joined the department the same year that I came, I believe. So it's been amazing having her as an advisor because she brings a wealth of knowledge regarding the engineering education uh, area, as well as having knowledge of the other side of the world because she's from Malaysia.
Yeah, that's great. I've heard that Professor Curia was a professor in Malaysia for a long time and then came back to US for
Yeah, yeah,
another
both
phase
her
of
and her husband.
yeah.
Both her and her husband are died. They're both in engineering and they're both at Purdue, so we're really fortunate to have them.
Perfect. It's a very interesting story because she had a they already have a very nice career back in Malaysia and then they start another career here and it's really amazing and I can't imagine myself doing that when I already built a very good career and then start continue that career in a different country. So I guess that's a question for Professor Curie in the future, but my second question is, what brought you to engineering education?
I think when I first thought about doing my PhD,
Hmm.
I actually thought about doing it when I finished undergrad, and I was interested in economics.
Mm.
And I struggled to get into any program. And so I kind of put the dream aside of doing graduate education. But when I worked in engineering for about 10 years, I worked in like manufacturing, transportation,
Hmm.
really fast-paced career, fast-paced careers where there's no room for error. I realized that I wanted to change the culture.
Mm.
And it's difficult to change it when you're just one small peon in a large organization.
Oh, I see.
And so that's when I started looking into doing my graduate degree. So I did my master's first at IUPUI.
Hmm.
And luckily, I was living in Lafayette at the time, and there was an open house for the engineering education program.
Oh,
And I sat through that for a few hours. And by the end of it, I was like, I guess I'm applying. And so this was the only program that I applied to. I basically said, either I get in or I don't. And it worked out that I was accepted.
oh my goodness. I didn't know that you applied to only one program. That's that's wild because I applied to 9 schools and
Mhm.
was waiting for at least one school reply back to me. I am impressed by your brave brave behavior. But
The way I've kind of approached my adult life, especially as I've gained more knowledge about how this life operates,
mhm.
is that there are certain things that are meant for you, and so you can. you can put a very small effort and get a huge return. And there's things that are not meant for you that you can put all of your effort in. And every time you try, it'll never work. The way I approached it was if it's meant for me, I'll put it in. And if it works, good. If it doesn't, I'll try something different. So I
Oh,
guess it was meant for me.
but it worked for you. It's one
Yeah.
shot, one kill type of approach.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think the next question is kind of related to the second question. So you mentioned that you were in a industrial engineering in specifically in industry most of the time. So what were your career goals or maybe dream in high school, college, and then masters, and then companies and after a PhD? And that might relate to how you ended up doing a PhD program in engineering education.
Yeah, if I go back to like elementary school,
Hmm.
I've always been decent at of course math and science. My dad's a math teacher. He's retired now, but
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
I was always I had no choice but to get A's in math because I had
Oh
I,
my goodness.
I had a living I had a living teacher who gave us worksheets to do on the weekend.
Oh God.
So I say that to say my skills were on par with being able to get into a good high school. I went to high school here in downtown Chicago. It's called Jones College Prep.
Oh,
And that high school really opened my eyes to opportunities in college. I never thought about leaving home. I thought I'd always stay in Chicago and go to school down the street here at UIC.
I see.
Um, but it just happened that that high school that I went to gave me opportunity to dream for more. And so I spoke to my guidance counselor and she said, I think you should be an engineer. Miss Irish Fry, she's passed now, but she really gave me an opportunity to see life differently. And so from there, that's how I went to Iowa State on a full scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
studied engineering. And once I started working,
Mm-hmm.
it I had a huge culture shock because what you learn in the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
you learn a lot of technical things, but you don't learn how it intertwines into the workplace.
Oh.
So when I started working, especially in manufacturing and transportation,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're constantly moving. You're against the clock every single day. It's high emotions, high stakes. People are always yelling. No one is ever happy. And so
Oh my
I
goodness.
realized that there was that huge culture shift it was a tremendous weight on me because I didn't know how to deal with it. But I think that's also what led me to so my research area is in the area of emotions and engineering education. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm wanting to explore more on how emotions and culture influence
Mm-hmm.
how we work in the workplace because ultimately if we're producing engineers that are technically competent but don't understand themselves first as individuals and then second how to work with others in
Mm-hmm.
an emotionally regulated manner, you're going to have the same problems that we're having today in industry, which is high turnover rates, high depression rates,
Yeah.
and projects that are not getting completed to the satisfaction of the clients. So
Mm.
yeah.
So, when you mention the emotion in the industry that you have experienced, so do you think there are people who enjoy those kinds of tension, or do you think that those kinds of intense environment should improve or change into a different way?
That's a good question because I think if we look at people individually before they enter a workspace, so let's say they leave their home, their maybe their mind is calm,
Mhm.
there's no anger within them, and then they walk into a workplace and people are shouting and screaming at them. They have one of two options. Either they can learn to adapt to that type of behavior,
Mhm.
or they can just say, I don't want to do it and walk away. And so what I've seen especially because most of I'd say 99% of my coworkers were men.
Um, that's
Most of what I've seen is that and I've spoken to them about this at length, is they
hmm
start off when they first start off the job, they're super excited. They have ideas about change.
hmm
But they said somewhere around year 5 or 6 or 7, their mind changes and they just become crazy. And
Oh,
so a lot of them I noticed have substance abuse problems. And I don't put that on them. I just say that if if we're saying that we want
mm,
healthy workplaces, we have to take care of the entire situation and not just a portion of it. So it's
I,
not enough for us to say we will offer you programs
mm,
to stop smoking
mm,
when smoking is the only thing that's giving somebody a reprieve from a crazy workplace.
I see. So you
Yeah.
do think that there is a systematical issue in the workplace regarding the emotion and the culture, generally speaking.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and says, I feel like tearing somebody's head apart. I mean,
Oh my
it's
goodness. Oh my goodness.
you know, I think about it and I look at how people behave, when they go home and they're with their families, with their
Mhm.
kids, with their dogs, or maybe they're into like woodworking and they're doing something that gives them peace. They're
Mm,
not screaming and shouting at that time. So that tells me that their base instincts, the thing that gives their mind and their spirit peace, is environments of peace.
I
So why can't we recreate that in the workplace?
I see.
Yeah.
So, your most of your industry experience is in industrial engineering, and then um, did you work in any other fields other than industrial engineering?
So my background is in construction engineering. And then I worked, uh, so it's different titles to it, but essentially it's under the facility engineering
Oh,
umbrella, which is basically keeping the facility running. So all the people in the background that you never see, but they're the ones that make sure the lights are working, the AC is running,
oh,
the
I
the
see.
parking lots that you're parking at. We're the people in the background that make sure everything is up to par and that we're planning ahead for the future.
Mhm. And it seems like after 10-ish experience of industry experience, you're now working in the university as a project manager. And can you explain how those transition happened in your life?
Yeah, essentially, I had a terrible work experience in manufacturing, and I said never again.
But you
And
spent more than 6 years there, and
oh, yeah, I was there for I was working in manufacturing for over 10 years, and
oh,
I think up until the last few years, I was fine with it.
I see.
But there was just a work experience that I just looked at myself and I said, no, I'm not going to kill myself anymore.
But yeah,
And
after a
so,
decade of
yeah,
experience, your answer was no, then I think it's time to step out.
yeah, yeah. That because I looked at myself and I basically said, I'm almost 40, so I need to make sure that I'm giving myself
Hmm
room for another 40 years and not dropping dead of a heart attack at 50.
Oh my
What's
goodness.
right?
That's
It's that
true.
drastic. It's just that drastic. And so that's how I ended up in higher ed. And it's higher ed has it has its own culture, but it's definitely nothing like
Oh,
manufacturing. Yeah.
I
It's more of a collaborative environment. It's
see.
and because you're able to see the end users, which are the students and the faculty and staff that
Oh, that's
use
a good point.
the spaces that you're designing, it's so rewarding. It's really rewarding to see.
Oh, that makes sense because I think teacher or faculty are one of the few jobs that you can see the changes right away, especially in the
Yes,
classroom. I can
yes.
so So I think you kind of mentioned it, but my next question was how is your industry experience different from or similar to your experience in academia, probably in the PhD program?
So PhD requires you to you read so much. I mean,
Oh,
G1, we we
for true.
you read and then you read again and then you read again. And I mean, you could read the same thing like 6 times, but
Yeah.
each time you're looking at it with a different lens. So you got a different set of glasses on. And what I really enjoyed about the program is it encourages you to question what you're seeing, to question why is it this way,
Hmm.
and then if to make the argument that let's look at it from a different manner. And no one tells you you're out of line.
Hmm.
No one tells you that's not the way we do things here. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen the difference between working in industry and doing the PhD program is in industry, while you're told we're welcoming new ideas, at the same time, people are comfortable with the status quo. And
Oh,
so you're kind of you're I probably had a folder full of like different process ideas and different team ideas and things we could try, and
mhm.
none of them really came to light just because you're working in a culture that it's so time constrained. People are already stressed.
I
So
see.
now that you want to try something different that may or may not work, that's time and money that you're it's almost like you're just hoping it might work.
I see.
Yeah. So that's what I like about the PhD program is it gives you that latitude to explore more. And for me, it's been great because I knew I had my mental state had become very static as far as how I thought about things. Because you're working with the same people day in, day out. Everybody more or less thinks the same.
Mm-hmm.
But being in the PhD program, I literally get to meet people like you from all over the world.
I see.
And you all have such different experiences with life.
Oh,
And
so
when
different.
I get to hear those experiences, we and I talked about it this summer in
Hmm.
Montreal in our
Hmm.
when we did the presentations at
Yeah.
ASCE. It's we're from two different backgrounds, but there's so
Hmm.
much overlap with our cultures, but then there's so much divergences in it. And hearing you talk about your culture, I actually went back home and I just started looking up things because
Hmm.
if to me, part of growth in this life is knowing other people around you and then expanding your knowledge about the world around you. So it's been great for me. In essence, it's been great for me, and I'm thrilled to be in the program.
Oh my God. So glad to hear that because I didn't expect this answer because I thought that like industry has money to run all the ideas real like make the ideas into the make it more tangible, whereas
Hmm.
academia is like faculty has to look for the grant, and then once the grant is accepted then we can do the research. So I was thinking in a different way, like more about the
Mm-hmm.
money issue, but I
Hmm.
think your answer was more about the culture and the um yeah, I would say culture, generally
Yeah.
speaking. And this is very inspiring to me because I always
Yeah.
thought about the money and then you took a different approach. And
Yeah, a lot of these companies, some of them are trying,
Mhm.
but there's a long way to go. And again, you have to. I've spoken to friends that work at different companies, and some of them had been successful in pushing for some of their ideas. But
Mhm.
again, if you don't have the right support systems, and that goes back to that company culture, you're going to have a great idea, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Mm, that's also that's also true. I haven't been in industry for like as long as you did, but I it's amazing because I don't have industry experience, but I do have a better picture of what people do in industry, and maybe
Mhm.
that might help my career as well.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. I think when we talk about research, we talk about researcher biases, and we all have them.
Mhm.
Um, But the more that we can, again, interact and dialogue and understand each other's backgrounds, it's going to make our individual research experiences a lot more fuller and meaningful because now we're pulling from different research sources rather than just a textbook that somebody's given us or a paper that someone has written.
That's a really good question. This is a really good like opinion about the general opinion about the PhD program. So I
Mhm.
think you mentioned several things that you like about the PhD program. Do you have anything that you don't like about the PhD program? Or in another sentence, what stresses you the most about doing this PhD program?
I'll say right now, as in my current stressor, is synthesizing all the information that I've
Oh,
read over the past 2+ years. So
oh,
I'm at that stage now where I have a pseudo, I say very pseudo dissertation topic. So I've read all these articles and I'm trying to piece together not just what I've read, but what does it truly mean? Like what is the big picture that I'm getting out of it?
mm-hmm.
And that's a skill that I've read probably three, excuse me, I've
Okay.
read probably three different books on how to synthesize information, and I'm still struggling with it. But Dr. Kyrie reminds me that I'm a part-time student, so I should give myself grace. And I appreciate her saying that. So I've the way that I've been tackling it now with her advice is utilizing concept
Mhm.
maps to
Visualization.
rather than writing out pages of notes or
Mm,
or doing annotations on the paper,
mm,
picking a paper and then just doing concept maps of the big ideas that I'm finding in there. And
mm.
I've done that for 10 different papers now, and it's made a world of difference. So although I'm still struggling with synthesizing and it gives me sometimes sleepless nights, it's
Oh my goodness.
I feel like I'm managing it a little bit better now.
Great. Are you using specific tool for visualization or just doing that?
Yes, I use CMAP.
CMAP. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we
And I
use it
use
for one of the
doTERRA
other.
for my,
Oh, yeah. So
sorry?
we use CMAP for one of the courses that we took, right?
Yes.
I saw.
Oh, that is to date my favorite course, ENE 506, the
Oh,
CAPS course.
of
Oh,
course.
I love
Yes.
that class from beginning to end. Dr. Purser, Dr. Wirtz, you guys are awesome. Like
Mhm.
they they really opened my mind to the idea of how to create course curriculum that students can not only learn from, but they can take the knowledge from and apply it in different manners.
Oh, yeah, for
Uh, so yeah, yeah,
sure.
I love that course.
Yeah, I think that course gives me a general framework, which is CAP, Content Assessment and Pedagogy. Like, it helps me picture a big forest of how to build a curriculum from the scratch. And
Yes,
yeah, it really changed my viewpoint as well.
excellent, excellent. Yeah, I think that that analogy you've given of a big forest, you start with that big picture in mind rather than trying to start from like a seed
Mm-hmm.
or from the ground. You're starting with the
Yeah.
big picture in mind, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're picking the larger points that you want to hit, and then you're digging it all the way down to the actual tree trunk. So yeah, that's a perfect analogy. Perfect
Uh,
analogy.
I'll talk to Dr. Purser later and then say that two students compliment about including you and me.
Yeah.
Mm. So my last question might be very retrospective. So if you can go back to the freshman year of the PhD program, what would you do differently?
Freshman year. Freshman year, I only took one course. So I don't know. I don't know if I I do freshman? Okay, if I was to go back to freshman year, I'd probably go back to I probably what I was struggling with at that time
Mhm.
was how to read and make sense of what I was reading,
Oh,
and then how to document the knowledge in a way that if I needed it in the future, I could easily find it. So I used to write all my notes longhand.
mhm.
I don't know what possessed me to do that, but so I have these binders, Jiwan, these binders. Because I moved back to Chicago in December, and I have two binders
Oh my
filled with my writing. And I'm like, I know there's brilliance in these binders,
God.
but because it's all written down, it takes a long time now, so you have to go back and yeah.
Open
So
up the older papers and then,
if I was to do it again, I would discover Microsoft Notes, which ties to your Outlook email. And
oh,
so no matter where you are in the world, you can just add a new page, a new tab, and all the knowledge is there for you. And then you can just hit Control Find. And if there's something that you're looking for, you just type in the keyword and it scrolls through all of that brilliance to get you the knowledge that you need. So if I was to go back in time, I would learn I would learn and utilize Microsoft Notes 100% for my note taking.
oh my God. I can relate to this so much because I talked with Bruce as well, and we were talking like one for lecture number one, we feel like we want to print out and read on the physical paper. And then a few weeks after, we realized that, oh, maybe I can use my iPad and then make notes there. And then I get sick of using iPad and then go back to the
Hmm.
computer and then print it
Hmm.
out for week seven and etc.
Yep.
So all over, like my knowledge and my readings, my note takings are all over this computer, and I can't, I can't, I can't find it. And I do know that I learned something very meaningful. I read this paper and I was so impressed by this Dr. Means paper, for example, but I
Mm,
don't know where
mm.
her paper is. Oh my God. I struggle so
That,
much about this. And yeah,
it is so funny you said that because I think no, was it Dr. Main's paper? Was it the paper that she presented in ENE 501?
is it the engineering career choice paper?
I think so.
Yeah, she do quantitative and qualitative analysis.
Yes. Yes.
How
I
students.
may have it in my binder.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
me
exactly.
it's funny because you're just like me where you're like, I know I heard something brilliant once
Yep.
and I know who wrote the paper, but I can't find the name. I'm going through that right now with three different papers. I know eventually I'll find them. Hopefully it's before I graduate, but
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I can relate to that because when I was in a freshman year, I didn't take the file management, data management seriously because I was so busy just reading everything on time before the class starts. So, but I think in the long term, it's like a marathon. You need to prepare the first phase of your running well so that you can sustain to the last. And I'm wasting so much time just rummaging my iCloud, Google Drive, sometimes Dropbox, sometimes
Oh God.
OneDrive, sometimes
Oh God.
Box
Oh,
Folder, etc.
I feel your pain, Jiwan. I feel your pain.
Yeah. So if you're a new student and listening to our conversation, please take the taking and organization more seriously, and it will save
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah, it will save you hair because a lot of my hair has gone gray now.
Oh,
Um, it will save you study time, writing time, because easily G1, right? You can spend like an hour looking for something
hmm.
because you didn't file it correctly the first time around. Who has an hour to give up? You're like,
Exactly.
yeah, so
Oh my goodness. So I will stop recording here.